My 31F fiancé, 36 meters, has become jealous of my accomplishments. How to deal with this? My 31F fiancé, 36M, is extremely competitive with me. We met 4 years ago and he used to be really proud of my accomplishments, but in the past few years he's become nasty when something positive happens to me. Last year I applied for my dream job and after several rounds of interviews I got the job. When I called my fiancé immediately, he had the day off. He rejected the call and texted me back saying, "Congrats." When I got home from the interview, ecstatic, I was telling him about the position and he had the most uncomfortable look on his face and said, "How much do you make now?" I told him and he again said, "Nice, congrats," and seemed annoyed for a couple days after. Last week I decided to buy a brand new vehicle after driving the same old vehicle for the past 14 years. My fiancé, friends and family would laugh and tell me how badly I needed a new vehicle all the time. When I asked my fiancé to come with me to look at vehicles, he became extremely angry and said he didn't want to come, despite it being his day off. So I went alone. I found a vehicle and invited my dad to come look at it with me, and within a couple days I signed for it. Immediately after I got the vehicle, he started refusing to drive his vehicle, which is only 5 years old, anywhere. Whether it was to get groceries or visit family, he says, "If you're not driving your new vehicle or letting me drive it, we just won't go." If I don't agree to let him drive my vehicle or drive it for all our errands, he literally won't come anywhere we have to. And it's not like he drives us anywhere. We both work full-time and only ride share when we get groceries or visit family, and he never wanted to take my vehicle because he said it was old. Fast forward to today, he's asked me to come to the car dealership to look at new vehicles for him. His car is still very new. He said that if I got something new then he wants something better, and we're looking at luxury cars for him. It feels like he's happy with my accomplishments as long as they're not better than his, but as soon as I get something better or that he wants, he becomes such an ass towards me. How do I handle this? Too long did not read. Fiancé gets really competitive and mean when I get or accomplish something he wants. Why do you want to marry this immature, insecure putz? You should leave him. Find a partner that actually wants to support you rather than making you feel bad for being successful. I am 35 and holy shit, your partner is acting incredibly immature. Marriage isn't a competition, it's a partnership. When my wife succeeds, I succeed. The way he is behaving is way out of line. You should explore couples counseling to deal with this. If he is going to be stubborn still and not be open to it, keep in mind you're about to marry this boy. If he had a day or two of jealousy, then gotten over himself and apologized, that would be one thing. But he's continuing to be childish and petty, with no end in sight. I would sit him down and tell him that you need a partner, someone who supports you and wants you to succeed, like you want him to succeed. If he sees the error of his ways, get into couples counseling. If he refuses to admit he's doing anything wrong or is unwilling to change, you need to rethink this relationship. That's honestly really pathetic of him. Why have you put up with years of this? Why are you engaged to him? Please do not marry this man-child toddler. To not be able to be genuinely happy for your soon-to-be partner in life is a major red flag. The fact that being jealous enters his mind for you getting your dream job is wrong on so many levels. I would seriously sit him down and confront him head-on. Get an answer as to why and just say your attitude absolutely sucks. Why the need to be such a dick about it? Considering divorce after a year. Advice? I'm 28M and she is 30F. I, 28M, am married to my wife, 30F. We've been together since I was 22 turning 23. We both agreed that we never really wanted kids because of the responsibility and financial impact. She comes from a divorced home and basically had to be a parent to her own parents and siblings at a young age. I come from a great family and we get together pretty often, parents, grandparents, cousins, siblings, etc. Over the last month and just evaluating myself, I have changed my mind and have been more and more into it. When I'm 70, what the hell am I going to do or look forward to? My wife has Crohn's disease and doesn't want biological kids, which is fine. She was more open to adopting when we were younger but not now. Our intimacy has been non-existent for a while now too. Maybe 3 times in 3 or 4 years, and it's because she doesn't find herself attractive or have any drive for it. Me on the other hand does have a drive for it, and it's how I've always been. I'm just kind of all over the place and looking for advice from people that have been in similar situations. Never have children with a person who truly doesn't want children. Never. If you convince them to do it, the child will be the one to lose. I'm not saying anything about your wife, but look up the rates of child abuse, neglect resulting from unwanted pregnancy. She will resent the situation forever and you will be miserable. Not to mention the burden of pregnancy on a woman's body and the risks associated with autoimmune diseases. Talk to her. She deserves to live her life without children and you deserve to live your life with children. Neither option makes you a bad person, just incompatible. It's perfectly okay to have love for someone, but also to realize you are both in different places in your life and want different things. Is it painful to come to these realizations that you may have married someone you are no longer compatible with? Of course it is, as well as all the conversations that come with those realizations. But imagine the pain and bitterness for both of you far down the road. Everyone should strive to find the person that fits them with the same goals in life. Some give and take needed in any relationship, but your foundational needs and wants are not the same. Life is too short. The world won't end with divorce. You shouldn't not have kids just to satisfy her, and she shouldn't have kids just to satisfy you. The best thing to do at this point is separate. Kids is a huge part of life, and that's not something you should have to give up. Also not something she should have to endure if she doesn't want to. If you want kids and she doesn't, it's over. To be a Reddit cliché, therapy, individual and marriage. You need to work on your own internal struggles, and she does too, and you all need to work on figuring out if the kids are indeed make it or break it situation and work on the lack of intimacy. Are your reasons for wanting kids legitimate? You make them sound like a hobby or a way to pass the time when you're older. That's no reason to have children. When uprooting your whole life, maybe think about it for longer than a month. How do I 30M tell my wife 39F I love her? Weird question, so here's some context. My bride and I have been through so much together. But most notably, when we met I brought a daughter and she brought her son to the table. When I came home from my last tour in Iraq, it was more like my body came home and my head didn't. Over about 9 months I would deteriorate into a shell of who I am and only express extreme emotions of affection or anger. What almost cost us our family turned into a partial hospitalization at the VA in our state and some of the most intensive therapies and structures I've ever experienced. Since these changes, I've noticed so many parts and pieces that have come home now. I'm me again and have been for a while now. I'm home, but she suffered through this process. Bad AMD stuck by my side so that I could heal and make it right. So this brings me to my question. How do I tell my wife I love her? Is there a way or a language that can somehow grasp at the magnitude of what she has done for me as my grounding rod and fortress? As the keeper of our home and family. The mover of the sun and moon. What is something I can do or say or anything that can somehow express my gratitude and pride and honor I feel for her? Telling her what you told us would probably be great. You could also show her you care about her by doing some romantic things. Get her flowers, recreate your first date, or a memorable date, or go see your favorite band. Stuff like that. Do you know her love language? That would be a great thing to keep in mind while doing this, so you are meeting a specific need there. Show her this post. Even without serious mental health issues, reconnecting after a deployment can be hard for a lot of couples. Add in trauma and mental health and it can be a bear. Not to mention that being the one back home holding down the fort comes with its own challenges, and then to have someone come home but, It's hard all the way around. I've been through several long deployments and I think she is telling you the exact truth. She's happy to have you back. Period. You don't have to make anything up to her. Just tell her that you see her and appreciate her. Yeah, just tell her what you just told us. Good Lord, so lovely and well said. I can't imagine that your wife would not absolutely love hearing how much you truly love, care, and respect her. But it seems like you say and do things for her already. I guess just keep it up. But maybe you can think of something special for just the two of you, a vacation maybe. So you can spend time together. Just a thought. Retired Army. Multiple deployment. Been there. You tell each other every day in word and deed. Soon, you'll feel it and believe it. Married 22 years now, and it better than ever. Show her with your actions. You could start by saying the things you said at the end here and for thanking her for sticking by your side and telling you recognize how hard it was for her. If you can't say it, write it down and give it to her. Then show her you mean all those things. You can say I love you a million times, but if your actions don't show it, it's meaningless. Whether she likes flowers or needs help with laundry or driving the kids around or all these things, do it without asking or complaining and do it consistently. How to deal with dictatorial parents-in-law. 33M and 31F. My parents-in-law have always been controlling. They are ex-police officers and they give off the impression that they believe themselves to be more deserving and better than other people. It started off with minor violations but now has become a major issue. They feel entitled to govern my relationship with my wife, dictate the terms and agreements of social contracts, e.g., you turn up with my daughter for food every weekend and be how we want you to be, or otherwise we will punish you and inflict pain upon you in a myriad of ways. However we get to be, do whatever we want. They are bossy, competitive, intrusive, combative and aggressive. Worst of all, my partner prioritizes her relationship with them over putting our relationship first. That's the major kicker because that's what undermines our relationship and gives power to her parents. She won't stand up to her parents because she's afraid and feels guilty as they have given her so much and done so much for her. I don't know where to go from here. The next step in our relationship is children, however I'm not sure I want to at this stage. I can only think of it as being hell given her parents and how my partner will pander to them and diminish our connection together. Has anyone been through similar experiences? What can I do to change this if anything? Her parents are so adversarial that any discussion will be met with them seeking winning as the only outcome. Thank you. Tell your wife that you consider her parents' behavior to be entirely unreasonable and you're sick of their low-key bullying tactics and manipulation. If it continues, you're going to have to rethink the marriage. If she can't rein her parents in, I would not have children with her. Her family will only escalate. Tell your wife you aren't going to go round to their place anymore because you are sick of being treated like a child. Tell her she's welcome to go round there on her own. Then you stop going round. You're in your 30s. You're allowed to expect to be treated like an adult. Your wife was raised by these parents and obviously is still under their thumb. Your wife has been conditioned for years. This will not change overnight. Maybe ask her how she feels about this. Does she even realize how they're acting? Does she realize she is being bullied and manipulated? Is she willing to work with you to set up boundaries? Honestly, you and she may need a skilled therapist to work through this. You can't make this change, only your wife can. Honestly, you're still young, you can find a normal relationship and have kids with someone who puts your marriage first. I know you love your wife, but it doesn't seem like your wife loves you. Right or wrong, conditioning or otherwise, she's willingly lied to you about family events, and she's decided to put them ahead of you, without considering you. This is not a marriage. If you have children with her, they will be weaponized and taught to treat you in the same manner. I know you want to save this marriage, but it's only salvageable if you give in. And then you don't have a marriage. I heartfully suggest you get yourself to a therapist and a divorce attorney and start working on your best way out. She prefers her family over you, fine.